Time to continue with our build. Last time we went through everything about making our hole, about measuring out so that we got the double helix, the ramp up, got that all good. Now it's time to occupy the empty space. Behind me I have a whole table full of track. And we're going to start putting that down here. And you'd think it's just as simple as just throwing it all into place. But if you do that, it can end up being a little sloppy. I like straight lines. I like it when the train runs. It looks like it's just going down a laser beam. I don't like all the little... So, we're going to be putting this down, taking some measurements, taking some video and photos as we go, and we'll see what we come up with. Hey! Okay, so on the helix, I took a section out so that I don't get in the way of what I'm doing for the train yard. Remember, this won't be in the way later on because it'll be raised up. It'll go right over top of it. Right now, I'm setting up the outside loop first to make sure that everything falls where it's supposed to. One thing that's kind of interesting, I got a whole bunch of switches I also need to put in. So we're just going to slide them together here. And slide that together. Going down. Coming up. Ooh. Yeah! Looks good. Here's something cool to look at. Hang on. Switches. These switches are really kind of cool because I'm running DC. I'll explain about that a little bit later. But one of the really cool things on the switch, if it turns this direction, it turns the voltage on just for this direction, turns it off for that direction. If you switch it so the train goes this way, it turns it off for the other way. It makes it really easy when I'm doing my yard, if I'm running DC, which I do plan to, so that I can turn off all the trains in the storage yard, and whatever track I have turned on will be the one that the train's running. Whatever one that you have it switched to so the train can run through it will be the one that has the voltage. I think that's pretty neat. I've been working on the railroad all the live long day. Man, look at all these wires. You know, normally when you see a nice little layout somebody spent a lot of time with, you don't see a bunch of wires like this everywhere. And you're not going to see it on this one. As much as I want to just start tacking everything down right away, first I'm going to fit it all to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to mark it all. I'm going to mark where the wires are coming off my switches and such. Then I measured how big the plug is, and I figured that a 1/2 inch hole in diameter will be just big enough for this plug to fit through. And the plan is right here, about where the frog of the switch is. The frog is this little area right there where the tracks come together. I'm told it's because of the frog of a horse's hoof. I don't know much about horses, but the person who told me that knows a lot about horses and a lot about trains. He's a pretty good friend, and he's a good go-to when I have questions. The wire comes off right in the middle. I'm going to mark where that is. I'm going to drill a hole through the table, and I'll run the wires through it. Then on the bottom side, we'll do a little video on how to make everything nice and neat and safe. Because remember, we're running electricity, and we want to make sure that what we're running, we don't have to worry about fires, shorts. We want to be able to wire it one time, get it right the first time, and for it to last a lifetime. Well, that's a lot of switches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. People from my generation will understand that song. That's 12 switches I have in here. And I'm not sure that I'm done with the yard and putting switches in, because I have a couple other things I'd like to do. There's a reason why I have a little extra room in the front. Go over that later. So 12 switches. I got all the switches in. Remember, the wiring is going to go through the table, so you won't see it. That's all the prep work that you do. You try and do as much prep work as you can, because it's hard later on to go back and redo it. Yard is on the way, and it's looking pretty good. Yes. I have the switches in place. I have the outer loop done. Looking good. Right now the switches are pretty close to where they want. I haven't drilled any holes yet because I need to finish laying down the rest of the yard before we drill any holes, to make sure that if we have to move the switch a little one way or another for everything to line up, I don't end up with a pre-drilled hole and all of a sudden it's moved off to the side or something. That way it still looks nice and professional. So what we're going to do next is, hang on a second. Yeah. Who? Oh, you know what? Hang on. I'm coming right there. Hold on. So I just got called by my friends down at the depot. They are setting up N-scale layouts similar to this. And I'm almost 50 years old, and I just got called from my friends to see if I could come out and play. What's the answer? Who has 2 thumbs and wants to play? This guy. It's time to go to the Dad's Train Room Mobile. You have a good week.
Go here, then I could conceivably have it go towards that yard. Or would that be too much?
That'd be too much.
I think so too. So if I go this way, then it dead ends right here.
So,
And if there's okay, wait. Okay. So if I have it dead end across here and have it dead end, the trees here you wouldn't necessarily see the depot. Okay?